All right, all right. I believe we are live. Let's see. All right, everything looks good. Green, chat's working. Everything is going. No audio issues. I think everything's in the green. So, guys, welcome. It is Saturday morning. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope that you guys had a great Friday night. If you got a hangover, I hope you're nursing it. But and I hope I don't annoy you too much if you're watching. But yeah, as always, guys, it's time for another episode. Why am I doing such a bad intro this morning? I have genuinely no idea. Either way, guys, how's it going out there? If you're here, you might know me as Spencer Baculi. You might know me as Mav, but either way, you know me as the editor-in-chief of Bounding Into Comics. And as always, we are here for another episode of Good Mav Ugly, the weekly stream where I come out, well, maybe, who knows? It could be a whole new era for me. But the weekly stream where I hang out with you guys, talk to you about the news of the week, but also, offer a forum for us all to hang out. Remember that things are good because, yeah, life genuinely sucks right now, right? Or let me rephrase that. The world's pretty shitty right now, but that doesn't mean there aren't still reasons for us to get out of bed in the morning, smile, laugh, remember that, life's worth living, if you will. So with that, guys, obviously, if you guys caught the thumbnail for today's show, the big news of the day is Kathleen Kennedy is out at Lucasfilm. If you read the description or if you've watched the show before, you'll know that normally, I have a rule generally of we are not going to do any Star Wars. I don't want to talk Star Wars. I don't want to look at Star Wars in the face. I don't want to do any of that stuff because obviously Star Wars has gone really, really downhill in recent years. So hopefully, not hopefully, but yes, the reason we'll talk about it today is because obviously with Kathleen Kennedy leaving, that's huge, right? That's absolutely giant. So we'll talk about what that means for Star Wars, everything she said on her way out, and who knows? Obviously, in the course of that, maybe we can talk about some of the cooler things we still like from Star Wars or we remember liking from Star Wars. That image I found, guys, for Kylo Ren, it's a really cool piece, right? And I still like Kylo Ren. So we'll see where the conversation takes us today. Until then, let's get into the chat. I just realized that for those of you who are watching the show through my channel, I forgot to add that to the whole chat link up. So if you comment through there today, it won't show up on the feed right here, but I will be able to pop it up. I'll get that fixed for the next show. Don't worry about that. But I bring that up because obviously our first homie hanging out is Andrew. How are you doing, my friend, my co-host over on Foil Variant, my Marvel Rivals partner, if you will. How are you doing, my friend? I see you say, I had a shit morning. Dude, maybe it's a universal thing because I did too. I didn't sleep well. And I went to bed at 1, couldn't sleep, ended up popping up back up. And the one big piece of advice I've learned lately is don't fight sleep. So if you're, laying down and you get restless or you just don't feel like you're getting anywhere with REM sleep, that's okay. Don't try to force it. Get up, go watch TV, go read, go do something. Just tire yourself out. But yeah, didn't fall asleep until 3, woke back up at 7, couldn't go back to sleep, fell back to sleep at 9, woke up at 10 and 10:30 and started scrambling to, get dressed, eat breakfast, set up the stream, do all that fun stuff. So I'm with you, man. It's a rough Saturday for us all around here, right? So all I can say is that I've got you. We commiserate, but at the very least, hopefully there's something that I get wrong that you can call me out on, and that'll give you a huge ego boost because I babble, I blabber, whatever you want to say about it. Let me grab my water real quick. Awesome 142. The coffee handler is gone. Yeah, I mean, you guys know that I generally try to, be fair and positive and, not necessarily, shit all over everything. But when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy, there's really not a lot to defend there. So we're definitely going to get into it. Happy to have you, my friend. We've also got Punk. How's it going, my friend? Always good to see you. I know you're always you're always up to stuff on Saturday, so I'm glad you can spend some time with us and hang out. Andrew says, I got you pulled on both channels, but I'll chat in whichever one is easier to see. Either way, right? Like, it really doesn't matter, everybody. I can still pull you up. The chat will be flowing in a little bit, and it'll get all filled up. I just wanted everybody out there, in case you're looking, you're like, where's my comment? I'm seeing him. I've got him. Just, keeping us all on the same channel. So, but yeah, rough morning for me as well. Lucky you, awesome one. You slept fine. You think? How do you think you slept? Hey, okay, I was saying that, like, how do you think you slept? But then, you know what? Mind over matter. Mamba mentality, all right? True winner over here. Hey, Bicky, what's going on, my friend? Always a pleasure to have you. I haven't seen you since Thursday's stream. I'm playing Marvel Rivals. I found your gamer name on Marvel Rivals, and my name on Rivals is that. Awesome. Yeah. Go ahead and add me. My username is on, pretty much everything. Kabuto Rider Mav. So you can throw me an invite on Rivals, on Fortnite, whatever you guys happen to play. Maybe one day we'll get a sort of like a Mav Streams community stream going or whatever, and we'll play, Rivals or whatever for one of the gaming streams. Either way, pardon me, happy to have, like I said, happy to have you here, Hibiki. Who you playing? I know that the last night we got the what do you call it? Like the release, the drop, the unlock, if you will, of Deadpool, who, guys, like Deadpool, he's really, really cool, but you need a PhD to play that character, because like because he can play Duelist, Strategist, and Vanguard, and he has completely different moves for all of them. So like, I almost feel like they need to introduce a Deadpool specific training mode in Marvel Rivals. But new season has started, new battle passes out and everything. I saw, guys, that the release of Deadpool boosted Marvel Rivals up to its highest player count in like 8 months, which is obviously, I'm happy for the game. I love the game. Yes, it's probably, Chinese spyware propaganda. I get that. Everything is these days, so I might as well get my propaganda in the form of Sue Storm and Emma Frost and Rogue's type buns, right? And some amazing Spider-Man costumes. I might as well get it that way. So I'm happy that the game is, getting that boost. It's getting that life. I'm just, it runs up against pretentious Mav, and I go, man, does everybody have to love Deadpool? I get it. I know, but really, we had to do it like that. What was I even saying about that? I don't remember anymore. Anyway, Marvel Rivals, great. Oh, right, Deadpool. Yeah, it's just, when everybody loves the meme or everybody just gets on for the popular thing. It's kind of how I felt when Fortnite did their Simpsons season last season, it was great. They did a good job. I loved that season. And lots of people got in on it. I saw, tweets from people I know in real life who don't care about video games. Whoa, I'm getting a little slutty there. Whoopsies. Did not mean that. Sorry, guys. I saw, parents and just like older media critics I follow who are like, hell yeah, I love The Simpsons. And I'm like, I'm happy you guys are all here, but also, like, clear out. This is my space. It's a dumb little thing that really doesn't matter in the digital arena. It's more of a thing, like, I get that feeling when I go to the gym, right? And like, I take a gym break for the first 2 weeks of January, because I know that so many people, which is good for them. This is not a condemnation. They're getting on their New Year's resolutions and they want to lose weight. So it gets busier, it gets more packed, and I just don't feel like fighting with it. And I know that I'm going to, I go to the gym every day, so I'll get my time in eventually. So I'll do cardio outside, or I'll just hang out. It's things like that. I think we all know what I'm talking about. Copyright infringement. What did I copyright infringe? I don't even remember what I'm talking about anymore. Let's see. Punk says, read issue 3 of DCKO yesterday and I enjoyed it. So I'd love to get your perspective on this, Punk, because I know that you told me and Andrew you only picked up that issue because of Z and Harley, and I know you're not following the full DCKO event, so we have a very rare opportunity here to ask like a completely throw him into the deep end reader. What do you think? Were you super lost? Were you super interested? That's just sort of that's a neat thing to talk about. I'm interested in that. I'm still playing Dead Game Destiny 2 until servers shut down. Awesome one. You know what makes me so I can never fault anybody for that. Again, I don't like Destiny. It never appealed to me. But if you guys like something, you like something. I cannot change your subjective taste. The rule, the one thing I always ask of you guys, right, is just to be honest with us and yourself and fans. And like, yeah, like for example, awesome one here. He knows Destiny 2 is kind of dead and it's not, there's no real hope for it, but he still likes it. But he can acknowledge that he doesn't have to defend it to the death. He doesn't have to, start giant fan campaigns or make his entire personality, Destiny 2 is the best game ever. What I like, the only thing I really have to say about Destiny 2 is that I laughed so hard because, yes, the game has, even before last year, right? The game has been sort of in a really weird space of death/limbo, especially because Bungie doesn't know really how to like do their live service plans. The whole vaulting of things was a disastrous decision where they decided, oh, we're going to, lock away some old missions and dungeons and raids and stuff. Like, yeah, just a rough, a rough thing. But for me, I went, oh, I know this game is actually completely like, give it the do not resuscitate order. When like late last year, they Fortnite did their, or no, I guess it wasn't late. I guess it was like summer. Fortnite did their mini Star Wars season. And then Destiny 2 was like, oh, don't worry, we got a crossover coming to Star Wars. And I'm like, why? I was already like, why are you doing a Star Wars event in Fortnite? There's nothing happening with this franchise. But then that's like, okay, well, it's Fortnite. People will market it. Disney has an investment in it. Sure, yada, 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 yada. And then, then you see it go to Destiny and it's like, oh, those are two dead franchises that are marrying each other because it's like, it's kind of all they have left. You know what I mean? I would genuinely not be surprised if within 2 years, Blizzard does an Overwatch collab with Star Wars. Because I was saying this, I think on Thursday's stream, that Overwatch is so funny because they fumbled the ball so hard that now they are doing like Unk Slop crossovers. And I say Unk Slop as a term of endearment because Unk Slop is my slop. I am Unk. I am chopped Unk status. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like, oh, we're going to cross over with Cowboy Bebop and Gundam Wing, and we're going to do Sailor Moon inspired skins, right? And it's like a little too little, too late. And at this point, it's just like, it's okay. You can go off the stage. You don't need to, you don't need to be that band trying to make like the new techno album or whatever. Like, okay, perfect example. Do you guys remember? Okay, this might be kind of hyper niche, but years ago, Blink-182 broke up, got back together, and then Tom DeLonge left again, and Matt Skiba of Alkaline Trio came in. They released an album called Numbers, and Mark Hoppus, the bassist, the other vocalist, he specifically said, when we wrote this album, I was trying to make an album that would appeal to like, not necessarily like the youth, but like that people would want to listen to. I tried to listen to like what's like hot now. I talked to my son and my kids and everything, like, and it was just like, dude, you guys, please go. Like we love you. You're great. Come back and play the rock show. Don't make any more music. Thankfully, Tom came back and they made another album, and that one was actually really, really good. Blink's one of those things where you need like both of them. You can't have one, you can't have the other. You need both of them. But yes, Destiny 2. I wonder how long that is for this world, right? Like, especially with Bungie and PlayStation not being happy with Bungie, especially. I wrote this report sometime last year, I believe. I don't remember exactly when, but Sony was like, oh, we thought Bungie was going to be everything when we bought it, right? Like, we thought this was going to be gangbusters. Really, really wasn't, because they did Destiny, and that was good. Like, that made a lot of money for them. Destiny 2 started making a lot of money for them. And then what? Nothing, right? Like, they're just doing the same formula over and over and over again. Shinkai says, I like Deadpool's VA since I recall those old YouTube channels. Oh, I didn't. So, yeah, I saw, what is his name? I'm going to just look it up real quick. Let's do him some proper respect, because Marvel Rivals. It is, somebody tell me. Why are you guys not telling me who his voice actor is? I specifically typed that in Google. Okay, yeah. Alejandro Saab, otherwise known as, what's his YouTube handle? Kagi Films. That's who it was. VA for Deadpool in this game. I have not played Deadpool yet myself. I was super busy last night with bounding stuff. But I really, really appreciate somebody made a compilation of all the voice clips that like he might utter during the game. And you can tell Alejandro is like, he's just having fun. Like, he's just like, I don't like, what would Deadpool do? Okay, we're gonna make this, we're gonna say that. He does jokes and references, but he doesn't. The joke is not the reference, if you will, right? He doesn't just go like, oh, Penny Parker, I'm turning Japanese. I think I'm turning Japanese. Like, it's not like that. He says things. He works with what like the actual character or the event or the moment is. And I really, really like that. It feels like NetEase was just like, okay, yeah, man, just go. Like we'll use it. There's actually a voice line in the game that is an outtake where it's like Alejandro going like, and he just like starts like cracking up halfway through, and like he loses the Deadpool voice and he's just laughing at himself. So I always love, like, that's one of the things I really, really love about this game. Again, fully aware that it's Chinese spyware, but everybody over there generally seems to love every aspect of like what Rivals is, from the hero shooter element to, you know, the costumes, the characters, the interactions. Like, if I wish it wasn't multiplayer, because this is like the perfect Marvel experience. Like, play this and Ultimate Alliance 3. That's your single player. Here's your multiplayer. Boom. Ultimate combo for a Marvel fan, hands down. I'm bummed that Emma's new skins aren't available yet. We've only seen the Marauder one, right? Because it bothers me a little bit. I don't know why, but whenever they show like, oh, here's a new splash image for Rivals, and then you see like a tease of a character or a costume in the background, I don't know why that bugs me so much. Actually, I think because that's okay. So that's what happens with Emma, right? Or that's what's happening with Emma right now in the Captain Deadpool like splash image for his pirate skin. You can see, I believe it's Psylocke and Emma in pirate Marauder themed outfits. And I think I just realized why that bugs me, which is, and I'm being unfair to NetEase, because I think I'm just like, remember when we used to see, we would get video game covers or comic book covers, and they'd have a specific character or like a specific suit, and then you open it up and you just go like, oh, this was just a marketing thing. Like, there's no connection here. They just went, oh, hey, can you paint me a piece? Can you throw it on there? And that's fine. Whatever. We have long all learned to accept it, right? Like, it happens, but it still bugs me. And I think like, I just have this like fear that that's what NetEase is going to do with every time they do it. And when they do, I know it's going to piss me off. but I'm unfairly doing that to them, right? Like, yes, history has shown that this can happen, but NetEase themselves has not shown that proclivity. So I'm definitely being unfair to them. Still no offers. Okay, so guys, Punk is selling his copy of Sonic Racing Crossworlds for, I think the last time you said was like $40 over on eBay. Switch 2, pretty brand new. He only played it for like a week or two. I can vouch for Punk. I know he takes care of his stuff. So that's actually a pretty good deal. If you can work it out, go on eBay, I guess, wherever it is. Punk, if you want to send me a link, I'll drop it in the chat, or Wolf can drop it in the chat, depending on who gets to it first. I only say that because those are the only two moderators who are around right now. But that's crazy. I'm genuinely surprised you didn't get an offer on it. If I had a Switch 2, I would have bought it directly from you, right? Like I already have like told myself that. Yeah, Hibiki's been playing as the new Deadpool. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy that they let Wade swear, and they kept that element of that, right? Like I almost feel like there's a Earth 2 version of me and Andrew, or Chinese me and Andrew, who just love all these comics to death over there, and they get hyper screechy autistic like we do over you can't put that suit on that character. That's not right. Like, you can't have them interact like this. How dare you? Because they pretty much nailed it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they locked away entire story campaigns. That's when I checked out. I wanted more from Bungie than just another shooter, right? Or at least like Destiny 1. Perfect. Like, that's fine. I'm open for you guys to get out of the IP mine and do something new. Oh, Destiny 2? Okay. Okay then, right? And don't even whatever's going to happen with Marathon. It's not going to. Is Marathon? I always forget. Marathon is 343 right now, right? It's not Bungie, I don't believe. Let's see. I always forget. And of course, yep. Wait, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. Who is making? Yeah, just who is developing Marathon? Oh, it is Bungie. Okay, so yeah, kind of a little bit cooked there. You know what I mean? Like my goat washed, if you will. And again, this is one of those things. Like, this is a good moment to sort of remind or bring up one of those things that I think a lot of us forget over time, which is studios, especially game studios, are not necessarily like they are all ships of Theseuses, right? Where we all loved, let's say Bungie back in the 2000s, or who's another developer? Bethesda back in the 2000s, or Bungie and Activision throughout, every pretty much up until like Overwatch 2, or no, a little bit before that. Overwatch 1 was where they started getting lazy and kind of kicking the bucket with all the breast milk and everything. But right, so all these studios that we love, when you hear that somebody it's a new game from Bungie, the best you can do nowadays is okay, I assume the level of base quality, I have a general understanding of what Bungie makes or Activision makes or whatever. A lot of the developers from that we love that made these games are no longer at these companies, right? For example, Rockstar, GTA, Red Dead Redemption, Dan Houser, founder, one of the big dogs of it all, gone, long gone. One of the lead technical directors for everything they did up through Red Dead 1, I believe, gone. And you see that a lot, right? People will move on. They'll want to develop their own games. They want to go to a different studio. They want to retire, all that sort of stuff. And as studios become more corporate and bought up and everything, they'll just cycle in people. And they're not always going to necessarily be the most qualified or the most locked into the philosophy of the studio. So it's kind of like that era. We're back in an era of find your favorite developers and follow them around, because studios are really like a crapshoot at this point. I'd say probably the only, and I hate doing this because I know it's so easy to just lavish them with praise. In terms of a studio that is still like an inherent, I trust them, I think they want to do what's best for video games, even if they're dumb sometimes, is Nintendo. Like, I believe that Nintendo is still really curating their talent. Like, oh, you want to be a director here? Tell me what, like, your experience, and tell me why you love, like, they get into it. Meanwhile, over, in America, Warner Brothers, big studio, movies, comics, media, like a pillar, an institution of America. Let's hand it over to an ex-Verizon, like, financial guy, because we just want him to boost up our stock prices. That's like, I hate this area we're in now, where like the most important thing is making your stock line go up, right? Like, shout out to Kathleen Kennedy. She actually called that out too. We'll get into it, but with the Hunt for Ben Solo movie, the Kylo Ren Solo, she, it got canned directly by Bob Iger and Alan Bergman. And she basically, in her exit, like, we'll get into it again. Don't worry. I'm not just like hitting it and leaving you guessing. But she gave a big interview to Deadline, and she was like, yeah, the movie could still happen. Like, people just need to take a chance. You need to stop being scared. And I think for all the faults and all the criticisms we can and will rightfully lob at Kathy, I don't think we can say she didn't try things, right? Like, I'm not saying that they all worked, but like Forest Witches, that's, you tried something there. A Forest Dyad, sure, why not? Like, again, not the quality of them, just the fact that she did it. Punk says, I know what's been happening with DCKO. Okay, so you're not complete from Foil Variant with me and Andrew. Okay, so you're not completely out of the loop. Damn, that it's still close, but still, what'd you think of it? Did you like it? Were you interested in getting to read it for yourself? Just curious. No judgments here. This is more just like, I love this medium. I love this industry. I want to know. I love the artistry, craft, all that fun stuff. There's a Tana cover of DCKO. Oh. This I hate this. Here, let me pull it up real quick. And I'm glad you're talking about this, Punk, because where is it? This, I saw this variant. Hold on, let me get a better version of it. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. Oh no, it's gonna do the thing. Whoa, it's gonna do like the recursive mirror thing, or the endless mirror thing if you do it on that window. So let me just go over here real quick, guys. Make sure when I jump, it will go to the right one. Perfect. Okay, so this cover, for DCKO, DC got Dan Mora, one of their powerhouse, basically their entire artistic lifeblood. They got him, and one of my favorite and one of Andrew's favorite, Foil Variant endorsed, signed, and supported artist. They got him to do a variant cover for each issue of DCKO, which will be 4, and they're like DC, like cross AEW, the wrestling promotion. I saw this cover. I love Power Girl. She's like one of my favorites. And of course, I love my Dan Mora women. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, it's so great. But I don't know who that is. I don't know who that other, like, if the wrestler is cool. I don't know anything about AEW. So I wouldn't want, like, I was standing in the shop and I like saw it, and shout out to my friends, Kevin Apollo and Marvin Montanaro, the hosts over on Tooneytown Wrestling, Tooneytown Talk. Marvin is the editor-in-chief over at That Park Place. Good friend. Love those guys. They're both big like wrestling fans, and they hate AEW. And I don't know anything about wrestling. I don't know nothing. I don't know why. But I just like I wouldn't want to like buy this cover and be like, guys, check it. And they'd be like, you bought, wrestling Hitler or whatever. And I'm like, crap, I didn't mean to do that. My bad. Oh, Shinkai, what's going on? How are you? Oh shit. I am so dumb. For some reason I thought when we were talking about Deadpool's VA and his voice actor, it was Hibiki, but it's Shinkai. Doesn't really matter. I'm happy to have both of you. It's not a stream without either of you two. Also for the also was a VA. Let me restart that entire thing. He's talking about Kagi. Kagi also did covers for some English anime openings. His VTuber stuff, again, haven't seen it, is CYU. I have no idea. I don't know anything about VTubers, guys. I watched Kazuna AI back in the day, right? Or like Kazuna I. She's my girl. And then I watch damn it, my friend Al is gonna kill me because I always forget her name. But there's some VTuber I like who has like orange hair, like Kiara or something like that. Mainly I like her because her avatar is like super like cute. But I don't know anything about VTuber culture. I don't know any of this stuff, right? So yeah, let me know if I'm missing something there. Also was a VA for an episode of the new Detective Conan dub, not doing all the episodes, just select. They're redubbing only certain episodes of Detective Conan? That's a strange, I've never heard of a strategy of that. That's very, 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 very odd. Oh, Zippy, how is it going? Bethesda, Todd Howard, the worst dev ever. Oh, you will get no argument from me there, right? Like absolutely none. But I know that people really liked Oblivion. They liked Skyrim. They liked Fallout 3. I think I've said this before, even on the show. I don't really like the, Western style of like video game, open world writing, graphical stuff. Just doesn't appeal to me. I want something a little more stylistic than just, look, we tried to make it realistic. I don't know. But even with that, I checked out Fallout 3 for like, I love Fallout 1, I love Fallout 2, I love New Vegas. Or no, this was before. So yeah, loved 1, loved 2. 3 came out when I was in like starting college, and one weekend I was like bored. I had it, from my Pakistani friend, and I went, all right, like whatever, I got nothing else to do. Weekend gone, right? And I was like, oh shit. Well, I don't even know if I like this game. I can't even say if I do, but there's something here, right? Like I can't deny that there's fun. Absolutely, Zippy. Problem with Destiny 2 is the problem with live service games. Live service should focus on selling skins. Heck, do events for skins. They can apply FOMO that way. I agree with that. I think the one connective tissue, which I think you probably are aware of, I just want to make sure we all see, is like, it's also a scaling issue, right? Because you can start out going like, oh, this dungeon will do this and get these weapons and that. But then, oh, now we're 2 years into the game. We want new players to come in, but we also can't just completely like sideline the, entrenched players. So what do we do? Oh, do we vault things? No, because that's unfair. And then, it all falls apart. We see that a lot. I mean, that happened with WoW. The big granddaddy of it all. WoW got to a point where it was just unsustainable. I've been hearing from friends and my sister who plays it, Final Fantasy 14 is getting up there, that they're so much so that they're possibly considering not like a wipe, but like another Realm Reborn sort of like, you get to this like a prestige level in Call of Duty. Like you get here, then you start over in a new story and a new whatever at like 1. So yeah, that's the problem with live service, is that Miku, I need you to go away right now. That's my desktop mate. She's out, but she she's in the way. I can't click shit if Miku is standing on my desktop, so I can't get to your guys' comments. But that's the thing, right? Is that video games try too much to, or like rightfully, understandably so, video games want to make sure everyone in their base is having fun and isn't necessarily excluded. Of course, maybe you're not leveled up enough or you're not good, but like you can still go and try and get better at certain bosses or raids or whatever. But like in the real world, I would love to like what's a good example? If you're in the army, right? Or if you're in the military and you go out on deployment or whatever, they go, okay, we're gonna launch like a stealth assault. It's gonna be we're doing the Bin Laden raid, we're doing the Maduro raid, and they're the senior. They're going, okay, we're attacking all the guys who have like 10 years of experience. We understand that like the new recruit, the guy who just joined Delta Force or whatever, like he'd love to do it. He's itching to. This is what he trained for. But what do you want us to do? Right? Like if we put the less experienced guy here, we have a less chance of success. The other squad mates are going to be more frustrated, and it's hard. I don't have a solution, right? Unfortunately, nobody pays me to sit down and philosophize on the micro mechanics of gaming as a concept. But I think there's something there. I think we've all got it. Atlas and Monolith for me are two studios I still trust almost implicitly. I can give it to Monolith because they just do Xenoblade right nowadays, and I don't remember any of those necessarily being bad. I think all of you Xeno fans liked them, and then they did the one after 3, the like Skell focused one the one that you want me to play, the one that you want me to play, and that's why you made me get on all the trilogy, and that's why I'm like currently on Xenoblade 1, because Andrew was like, this Xenoblade game, it's all mechs. Mav, this is you. We know you want it. And I was like, but I gotta get. Where do I start? And he went, 1, go. And I just got to get back to it. But Atlas, I'm torn. When it comes to like a big Atlas release, a Persona 4, a Persona 5 Royale, a Shin Megami Tensei 5, I think I would agree with you, right? When it's their big, like, here we fucking go. I hesitate to say I implicitly trust them, or even like almost implicitly, because and I know this is a subjective thing, and I know Andrew and I disagree on on how much this matters. I'm not a big fan of the when in Reloaded, like Persona 3 Reloaded, and what they'll do in 4, where like they do update for modern audiences and censor a lot of their old content. Again, there's like we can have a different discussion about like, does that affect their quality as a game maker? But to me, that's a philosophical thing where, you guys know me. I'm artist forward always. Like I'm pro free speech up and down the board, and I always come at it from an angle of like, think of a writer, think of an artist, like let those things out there. And of course, from there will come, the freedom to talk politics or whatever, right? Because the artists are always the ones who push the boundaries or even don't push the boundaries. They just play and they do fantasy, and then they get in trouble, whether it's EC Comics, whether it is Batman being accused of being gay with Robin, or the Comics Code shitting their pants at Stan Lee for wanting to do like an anti-drug story in Amazing Spider-Man. So I don't like that. And like the spin-offs aren't always the best quality or like the most entertaining to me. The Q games were fine. Like the Persona Q games were fine. The Muso, what was that? Strikers? I really wanted to like that because that's Persona 5, one of my favorite like games, and Muso, which is probably one of like my top 3 video game genres. But when they mashed them up, they tried too hard to honor the Musa or the persona of it. And so you get that weird system where like you go into a battle and then it ends. And then you have to engage another battle instead of just like running through them and rampaging and being a Muso thing. So Atlas is definitely up there for me. And I don't know if I would go implicit. Implicit's hard. Implicit, I think, like, even for me, I don't have an implicit studio or publisher anymore. I am personally on the bent of like, I follow my favorite directors, like Itsuno, the guy behind who followed up Hideki Kamiya on Devil May Cry, handled 3, 4, 5. He recently left Capcom and now he's independent and he's doing his own action, like character action fighting, or not fighter, but like character action game. And I'm like, I want to go play that because it's him and I can trust him. and that's not to say, like, I want more studios to do better and you know, developers to build that trust. They don't get the opportunities, unfortunately. You ignore skins and trophies. See, I only ignore. I do like trophies and achievements in the sense that, like, at least it gives me some. It makes me feel better when I'm like sinking 4,000 more hours into a game I've already beaten like well through, and like I should be playing something else. I should be being productive. Then it's like, but dang, you know, 4,000 hours, and it's like, well, okay, at least I got that. Yes, very much falling for the lizard brain, but it works. Skins though, I'm a skin whore. Like I love alternate costumes to death. I think that's a well-established fact. And like I will scramble to get skins like I did earlier this week with the Iron Spider. What's up, Timon? How are you? Just grabbing some water. Here's a link. Here's the link. Where's the link? Where'd you send the link, Punk? I don't see it. So yeah, let me know when you actually send the link, because we would have to approve it. Andrew and I have to like let it through and all that fun stuff. Otherwise, because remember, we're also broadcasting through the Bounding channel, we would have too many people coming in going like, check out my thing, and just like flood us out. So oh yeah, Timon. And Timon's talking about where I was going with like the Fallout graphics. Realistic becomes boring too quickly. I don't think necessarily boring. Actually, no, I think boring is the right word, because you start to see, you're like, oh, that's realistic, but then you hang out with it and you're like, well, it's really not. Like, I can see the cracks there. I can see that. I can see the uncanny valley here. Yeah, maybe it's not. Okay, this is kind of boring. What am I doing here? I'm always a big fan of stylization, because trying to chase absolute realism very, very, very rarely works out. Like, it might look good right in that moment, but then you try to play it or watch it or whatever a couple years down the line, not happening. Like, for example, I recently rewatched the first James Cameron Avatar movie, the Blue People one. It is like, it's still like, this is James Cameron, so it is still a technical damn marvel. Like, it is insane how good that movie still looks. But even here, oh my god, like 15 years out. When was the first Avatar? First Avatar was like 2009. So that can't be right. 2009 to 2026, 17, right? 17 years, I think. I'm really bad at math. So it's still been 17 years, and you can start to see like, there's like, that's a little too digitally. That's a little too like not blended in right. And again, for something like Avatar, very, very, you know, non-consequential, because it's fucking Avatar. It's James Cameron. But for everything else, people have to be like super careful with that. Fallout Zippy says Fallout 3 with all DLC was okay to fine. Skyrim was flat and half finished. Oblivion had issues, but at least was not severely dumbed down. I'm just not a big fantasy guy. Like I did the opening to Oblivion, and I think I got through like the first gate that opens up, and then I was just like, I don't know, whatever. Where's the spaceship? And then Skyrim, I already didn't like Oblivion. I wasn't gonna play Skyrim, and then Fallout 3 was fine. Didn't care about 4. New Vegas, masterpiece, but nowhere close to New Vegas, right? You're so gonna get that hologram waifu. I don't know, man. I want to bring this up just so everybody knows what we're talking about. Yes, there we go. Oh my god, that music will get us killed like really fast. So jump over. For those who didn't see it, at I think it's not CES. Oh yeah, it is CES. So at CES, NVIDIA unveiled this device, which is it's a holographic AI companion. It just sits on your desk. It'll talk to you. It can hang out. It can do all that stuff. So obviously, yes, this is a right up Mav's alley like product, right? And in a perfect world, I would buy this like in a heartbeat. Miku is going in there immediately. Give me a Jubilee skin. It's happening. However, one, I don't trust AI for dick. I don't trust anything with a camera like this, right? Or a microphone that's listening to me. So like that makes me wary. And then B, I got to be careful, guys, right? Like I'm 35, I'm single, I'm a giant dork. I got to be very, very careful to not close the book on myself. But I do really like this, and I'd be excited. Like, I want to see more of it, even if it's not just waifus, like make a Goku or whatever. I think it's gonna be cool. Oh shit, jumped ahead a little bit. My bad, guys. Shoot. Well, I'll just start here. Kenny is here. What's going on? How are you? Always got to ask, how's the weather down there over in New Jersey? I'm assuming it's still freezing. I'm assuming I'm still going to cry when you tell me about it. Zippy says, Muso bad genre. I could not say Fist of the. How dare you? Muso is the best genre. We got Zelda, we got One Piece, we got Gundam, we got we got Romance of the Three Kingdoms. I will give you that one though. That one was unfortunately bad, the Fist of the North Star one, and I'm not entirely sure why. I think it's because once you boil that, like in outside of like one-on-one confrontations where each opponent can like highlight and talk about what they just did, a lot of the like fist fighters and villains and heroes and stuff are just fist fighters, right? So not a lot to super play with there. But no, I will definitely give you that one. DMC3 broke you, dude. That's one of my favorite games. Everything from the sets, the styles, like that is peak video game to me. That is perfection up and down the block. Falcom has your favoritism lately. They're good. That's a sleeper hit, especially with like the East stuff they've been doing. And then I feel like they've been tackling another one of their franchises recently. The Trails stuff is them, right? Like the Trails of Cold Steel and In the Sky. I think that's them. Who knows? But that's a good one to throw in there, Timon, for like who would you implicitly try? Oh man, fake Asian. I am the worst Asian, right? Like I got the bad driving record. I got the squinty eyes, and I got the overbearing sense of like you have to perform and pressure and the Catholic guilt and none of the math skills. I think I've told this story before, but when I got to college, I was so bad at math that in order to even like start getting into my business classes when I was a business major at the time, I had to do a placement test for math. And it did so bad that it had to put me in Remedia Algebra 2, which was not offered at my school. So I had to go enroll in a community college like a little like in the area. So I was technically going to 2 different schools at once. Like that's how bad of an Asian I am. Yep. Solidarity, Hibiki. Where we are why they invented calculators. Zippy says Avatar films have a very simple aesthetic. I don't care how good the effects are. Are they doing anything with it? Well, that's what I mean. I'm not saying that, ooh, the effects are so dazzling, but I'm talking more about like there's an opening scene in Avatar 1 when that first outing Jake has when he's in his Avatar body when he meets Neytiri. It just looks like it still looks good. It's like we all know it's CGI and digital, but I look at it and I go, holy crap. Like, it's like you did good. You made it. You blended it. You worked with it realistically. Like, not bad, not bad. Oh, my God. Kenny, remember that movie Beowulf? That was weird with the trying to look photorealistic. So they did something there that was... we see it all the time when a new technology comes out and everybody gets really hyped and they just want to like jump on it and abuse it. I mean, we're seeing it right now with AI, or when the Wii came out and the PlayStation Move and the Kinect, everybody wanted to put motion controls and everything for not often benefits. But this movie was the very, very early days of like one-to-one motion capture acting in both movies and video games and stuff. So with this movie, they were like, let's push the boundaries. Let's blend it. Let's show you the future of cinema. It's fine, right? Like it actually, like, digitally, visually, it's aged really poorly, but as a film, it was fine. That was actually, I always laugh about that movie because it's one of like the only 3D film I've ever gone to see at like midnight specifically for 3D, because me and my friends were like, what, 16, 17, thought it was going to be the coolest shit ever. Wasn't, but hey, here we are now. Oh God, no, I did not. I don't love Bethesda now. Like all that Bethesda love I was talking about back in the day. Nowadays, they're one of my like persona non grata developers. Like, no way do I trust anything Bethesda. Scrolling forever. What? We have an actual Kick watcher instead of just a bot. How is it going over on that side of the internet, my friend? Oh yeah, leveling up characters in Marvel Rivals is a pain. You just got to put in the grind. Like that's the hard part about it. I was talking with Andrew the other night, and it's like, I play a lot. I've only got one Lord character, one Captain, or no, Centurion, whatever's like right below Lord. That's what my Iron Man is. And then everything else is just a knight. So buckle up, put on a podcast, put on a show. Hey, put me on, as you might be doing right now. And just, go with the flow. A quick burst of snow about an hour ago, another 5 inches or so through tomorrow. Did you guys see? I think was it Michigan? Somewhere where it's like over there on the East Coast where you guys are getting belted right now. There was like a news broadcast where the guy was like standing outside and the wind was like literally making the snow go sideways. It was so strong and he was like almost falling over. I don't know. It's just, we forget, right? Like, Mother Nature's scary. You a scary bitch. God damn. So yeah, this is what it reminds me of. And then I saw this video of like a I think it's like somewhere in like in Mongolia. This guy, it's like negative 25 degrees outside wherever they are, but they're in like a nice restaurant. They're all heated or whatever. And he like opens the door to his restaurant. A giant like cold front comes in and like a guy's phone freezes. Like it won't operate anymore. And I'm just like, damn, I will stay inside. I will stay in the American Southwest. I'm good. Yeah, the QTEs. See, yeah, Fist of the North Star, like with their QTEs, and then Persona 5 Strikers with their like end of battle, get back into battle. Anything that disrupts that flow of Musou, like, because the point of a Musou game should be to make you feel like that motherfucker, right? Like, you play One Piece Pirate Warriors, you feel like Luffy, like you are throwing out a fist and you're punching out 25 guys at once. Or when you're Lu Bu, or when you're Link, or when you are the Epion. So anything that like pauses that action is bad. Like I even am not a fan of those missions where like you got to clear out everything, and then it's like, oh, mission's done. Here's a little talking section. Oh, there's more to do, because I'm like, you interrupted my flow. How dare you? If math is so easy, go fuck yourself. How about that, Timon? How about that? All right, go add 1 + 1 means. Whoa, stereo Zippy, what's going on? Man, if you think Beowulf looked bad, don't watch Beast Wars, a reboot. So I love Beast Wars. I still watch that to this day. I still love Reboot. And the difference here is like those two are specifically being animated and not trying to even convince you that necessarily that they are real. Whereas like when I remember Beowulf, I think of the king, like when he's like doing the like circle walk and talk, and he is shiny. It is supposed to be the dead of night, but he is lit up like he is at Isla Vista for Halloween, right? Like it's jarring, and it's just one of those rough things where it's like you thought about whether you were concerned about too much about whether you could and not whether you should. Yeah, there was a blizzard in the Midwest and upper New York, I think, 2 feet. Man, do not miss that from being in Illinois. Imagine if it was the ice apocalypse from the movie. I'm presuming you're saying, oh God, what is that movie? It's so dumb, but I love it so much. The Day After Tomorrow. God, that movie is so stupid, but I actually kind of like that movie. It's like a good popcorn flick. Warm in Tennessee, had to turn the AC on. Zippy's living the same life as us here in Arizona. I have to turn the AC on as well. I need to say fuck it and just go out west. If I get to Arizona, is there a good barbecue place by you? I don't have one offhand, but I'm also not culinarily adventurous, right? Like I'll go to place when I get food wrecks, it's like my foodie sister or my mom or my friend group out here love to do like regular, like, okay, we're going to go to a place this week. We're going to do that. And that's when I'll go and explore. But otherwise I'm like, oh, I'll grab Taco Bell. I'll grab the local taqueria. I have a really good sandwich place that's right next to me, right? Like, so if you ever make your way out to Arizona, we'll find one together. We'll get. Look, there's got to be someplace. It's Arizona, right? Andrew says, I can understand that angle. It didn't bother me since I was in it for the P5 content first before the genre's traditional mechanics. See, I was in it for both, but because it failed so hard on one of them, it just made me go like, well, I don't really care. And then this is also like a big thing with the Atlas stuff where anything that's not in that game, like if it's not in Royal, if it's not in Persona like Golden, if it's not in FES for 3, it's essentially like the DC multiverse. It's in a different world. And so I'm like, okay, well, I don't like these mechanics. And I really like this, like I like this new AI girl, like this what we're doing here, but she's not gonna matter. All right, I'll see you later. If by some miracle she ever becomes like more than a novelty, I might go back and like close it out. But from like right now, I see her being like at best a like, oh, we Persona 5 like 50th anniversary merch tour. There's one pin of her, or there's like one shirt of her, and yeah, so it just didn't hit for me. Muso needs an auto battle. What are you talking? Get out! That's the worst. That is the worst opinion I've ever. What's the point then? You might as well be playing the FF7 remake intergrade Switch 2 Turbo Hyper the Champions World Edition, right? Where the stupid streamlined progression mode where you have unlimited like HP and MP, all your attacks always do like 999, all of your materia is like maxed out. Like, what's the point of playing that? Like, why am I even playing again? Why wouldn't I just like read the book or something at that point? Let's see. But I gotta get the frozen food to heat it up first, Zippy. And I don't go out all the time. You kidding me? In this economy, in this fucked up, president pedophile tariffed out economy, going out to eat like requires a significant investment. You got to put up a mortgage for your house at this point. Oh man, making hoagies for dinner today. Like, why are we even looking for like another barbecue place? Why don't you just come out here and open up a place? Like that's like I want to hit on that like right now. Yeah, it was supposed to follow the original P5. P5R came out and almost immediately after Strikers and threw that out the window. But like there's always that I how do I put this? They still could have done like you and I, like we love comic books, right? Like they could have just done the thing where, oh, this discrepancy, like there's only like really like 3 little continuity discrepancies that happen, and they could have just done like, oh, that happened off screen or whatever, right in between the games, and then the fact that Atlas was just kind of like you described here, they just went, I don't really know, we're out of here, makes me go like, what? Like, come on, guys, what are we doing here? Okay, see, this is true. That's true. I don't deny that Muso is just button mashing, but button mashing can be fun in and of itself, and I don't want to auto battle that. Yeah, right, exactly. Like screw that. Walmart Plus pays for free delivery. Never leave home again. Honestly, if it's never been, for those of you out there, it's never been an easier time to be an introvert, right? Like you can get everything delivered, everything on order. So it's a whole new world out there. Oh man, Kenny says, I like your thinking. I wanted to have a food truck with smoked meats, barbecue, but it is a bitch in my area to get the permits and places to park. Maybe out west, I don't know anything about the Arizona scene. Like, I generally I know back in California there was a lot of that sort of issues with like getting permits was a bitch and the licenses or whatever. Haven't heard anything out here, but I do know there's like obviously a robust industry of them. So I think you could be onto something there. You can make it all like New Jersey themed or like cold themed and play on it. I don't know. We'll take it. We'll take it to the we'll take it to Fiverr. They'll be able to help us out, right? Gosh. All right. Give me 1 second, guys. I need to go get some water, and then we will let's hop into our some topics. We'll get into it, but first. Water. Where is my BRB? Why is my BRB not working? Go. What the heck? The music stops? That is not correct. It's supposed to loop. What happened there? All right. Either way, we are back. My hair is looking dorky. Let's fix that. All right. Let's see. What do you guys say? Yeah, no kidding, Zippy, right? Like I did not like that was legitimately what I was like trying to avoid. Because so yeah, Wolf's like, I'm digging this jazzy tune, right? I thought like, yeah, this is a good little like keep the beat, keep the energy while I'm running off for a second. Nope, it decided it wanted to end, and it decided to make it completely haunting and awkward. But speaking of haunting and awkward, guys, have you heard the news? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Bum, 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 bum. Where do I want to go here? Bum, 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 bum. Where is the big news? Where is the big news? There we go. Let's jump over there. And oh yeah, like it's either I want to blame OBS, but I probably forgot to hit like the loop option or something when I was messing with the audio. We all know me. I know myself. All right. But with that, speaking of awkward, speaking of haunting, speaking of fails, have you heard this? Have you seen this? It's the news of the week. We got, whoa, where am I? Where is my camera? Bring me back. There we are. Hello, Mav. Right. As you guys might have seen on, what's today? Friday. So Thursday evening, Thursday afternoon, big news dropped here in the world of pop culture, of entertainment, of nerddom, if you will. After 14 years at the head of Lucasfilm, you know her, you love her. She made sure the Force was female. Kathleen Kennedy is out from her position as Lucasfilm president. So obviously, she we all know sort of the general about Kathleen Kennedy. Got her start, on working with Steven Spielberg, helped found Amblin Entertainment, got promoted to Lucasfilm president when George stepped away and Disney bought it. The rest, as we know, is unfortunately really, really bad history where she kind of just greenlit a lot of crap, right? She, I'm not going to be one of those people who says, she was completely worthless. Why did we even hire her? Clearly, there was a reason she got the job in the first place, right? But what I will say is that I think she just wasn't right for the franchise, for Lucasfilm, and for this moment in entertainment, right? She, as we all saw, she's very much a trend chaser and someone who really focuses more on like, I want things to be different and subvert and open and explore instead of how do I get to those, like that end and make it satisfying for everybody involved. And in her wake, obviously, we will have, it's interesting. She's actually splitting her duties between two. Dave Filoni, we all know him. We all generally get annoyed by him. Star Wars Rebels creator, the showrunner of Star Wars The Clone Wars, of Mandalorian, of Ahsoka, of all that fun stuff. Basically the face of new wars, if you will, of Disney Star Wars. He will take over as official president, and he will be handling all of the Lucasfilm creative duties. On the other hand, we will have Lynn-Wyn Brennan. I don't know whose name did I just say? Lynn-Wyn Brennan. She is currently or prior to her promotion, she was the executive vice president of Lucasfilm. She's going to be the co-president, and she will be handling all of the financial stuff. So interesting there that Kennedy was handling both of that, and now she's handing it off to two different people. Maybe it's a case of learning from our mistakes, or learning that this is going to be the best way to navigate this. I find it really interesting, like on that note, because with her exit, it seems very much like, okay, we can finally start, what's the right word? Shepherding this franchise, right? Because I don't know if you guys saw, this is this is an ancillary, or not ancillary, like this is a supplementary, complementary story. The literal day before Kathleen Kennedy announced her exit, announced that she was done, Disneyland announced that, oh, hey, guess what? Starting in April, Galaxy's Edge, the Disneyland attraction, we're going to have original trilogy characters in there. Yay! Right? So prior to this, they had, 3PO, Chewie, and R2. But now you're going to be able to finally hang out with, Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Leia, characters that people would actually want to hang out with. Because prior to this announcement, Galaxy's Edge was under a very, very, very firm, strict, creative, rules. They basically were locked into only using original stuff, or not original, but rather sequel trilogy stuff, new characters, mostly things owned by Disney. Now there's no confirmation of this. Nobody has come out and said this, and I doubt anybody will for a while here. But I am of the opinion that, when Kathy was running Lucasfilm, what it feels like to me is that she was too concerned about okay, we need to break out of old Star Wars and make this new, because now this is the Disney era, and all of this stuff, the money will now go to Disney directly. We don't have to pay as many royalties to novel writers or comic book writers or Dark Horse or, director XYZ of a TV show, because we're only going to be using Disney stuff. So I think that, that to me is the biggest failure of Kathleen Kennedy's entire presidency at Lucasfilm. I don't think she properly understood the assignment. And to that point, if in case you guys didn't see it, this right after the announcement came out, Deadline published an interview that their very senior reporter, Mike Fleming Jr., he spoke with Kathleen in December, right when he said they were on the set of it was the wrap day for what's his name, Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling Starfighter film, and at that point she already knew the decision was coming. So it's a very lengthy interview, but they get into a lot of interesting stuff, and this is where we're going to be spending a big chunk of our time. But the main thing I wanted to point out right here, at least in this part of the conversation, is that in this interview, she is eventually asked, point blank, where is it? It's near the end. Boop, 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 boop. Right here. Near the end, she is asked by Fleming. Let me go up and I'll just highlight it. Go away. I don't need you. Right here. She is basically asked, through all the crap through all of everything with Star Wars, with Indiana Jones, do you have any regrets? And she goes, no, I don't really have any regrets. Or here, let me requote it. Let me do it all proper. Kennedy replies, quote, no, I don't really have any regrets. Well, maybe a bit of regret about Solo, a Star Wars story. I brought Larry Kasdan in on, and we were so excited about that idea. And then you're into something and you realize fundamentally, conceptually, you cannot replace Han Solo, at least right now. So that little bit right there, to me, speaks volumes of kind of it's almost like an unforced admission as to what her style about where she was approaching Star Wars, which was, as we were just talking, make it new. This is the new generation. This is the new era of Star Wars. And it went pretty much as well as, remember in the 90s when they would do new Pepsi, or the new, the radical ones, the lunatics or whatever. It's kind of that's what Kathleen Kennedy did. And I think all of us, at least a general consensus coming away from a lot of those projects is, well, you don't understand it. You're trying to, as she says there, mess with these fundamental conceptual concepts. And even that term of replacing Han Solo, the way she uses her wording there, that's telling, because theoretically, guys, if you're going to do some sort of sequel or continue on in a character, you're not replacing him. You're getting an actor to continue being them. But if we go back to, Force Awakens and Solo, and let's compare Disney Star Wars Han to whatchamacallit, to Lucasfilm Han, the entire character is different. We used to have the cool smuggler who was a little too up his own, smug ass for his own good, who, the iconic line, "I love you, I know," right? Like, that's maybe it's bravado, but it's some damn earned bravado. We get to the Force Awakens, we get to Disney, and Han is broken. Han has like given up essentially. And then we even go younger, and instead of, sort of this rough and tumble Han that we expect, we get MCU Han. We get, jokes and, oh, did I do that? And it's just like, that's the big, you don't replace these characters. You're not, if you inherit something like this, guys, if you're inheriting a legacy, you should never, ever, ever go into it with, I want to replace what came before or what inspired this. It should be, I want to build on it, or, if you really are going super, super changey, I want to honor whatever came before, right? So that's where you give characters respect. You give characters, an arc, and they evolve. You don't replace them, because then that also, that's also such short-sighted thinking, because you go, okay, we replaced them. Now what? Now, okay, now we have this new Han Solo. Oh shit, I didn't really think about what we do with this Han Solo, or what we like, how we use him from here on out. I just made him. I just created him. So like, it's such a, where the hell? Oh, there it is. Such a creatively detrimental mindset to approach these kind of things. Let's see. Andrew says KK's skill set is in acquiring funding for shooting locations and such, not as a creative or in a managerial position. She should have remained that person. And I agree with that, right? Like, and this is sort of what I was going, like, this actually kind of touches back on what we were saying with video game studios and, bringing in people who don't understand the studio they're working for. That's kind of what you get here, where, again, KK has shown, she has the pedigree. She got the job in the first place. It just, she doesn't necessarily get that X factor, that fundamental bit of like artistry of like what people come to the movies for. Again, just not very much not a good fit for this. Zippy says Rey killed Star Wars. Prove me wrong. I will, because I actually don't think Rey in and of herself was a problem. Like, coming out of Force Awakens, I was fine. Like, I was like, okay, sure, that was a retread of A New Hope, but all right, I'm excited. Like, I can dig these guys. I'm ready to see what happens more. What killed Star Wars is the writing and this direction that came from Kennedy of kill the past, let the past die, kill it if you have to. That is what really, really screwed this all over, because it's Star Wars. We love all these characters. Oh, well, now they all suck, and now we're going to force you to like these characters, because these are, Finn and Rey and Poe are just about the only three characters who do not suck complete ass who are alive anymore, right? So I was thinking about this earlier, and like, how do I put this? I'm a firm believer in that, in this concept that very, very, very rarely is there an idea so bad that it cannot be reworked into something, useful or enjoyable or whatever, right? Like, there are genuine bad ideas, but a lot of the time it comes down to execution. For example, with with the sequel trilogy, if where we were set up with Force Awakens, with, maybe Finn might have a little Jedi in him. Rey's clearly, tapping into something. Kylo is full on like worshiping sort of like the darker legend version of Darth Vader. There's a lot you could play with there. And I think you could do really interesting things, especially if you go and Luke actually trains Rey and then realizes like, oh, you're actually involved in all of this. Holy crap. Or same with Han Solo. Right. I'm not even against the Han Solo death. I actually think like that's a pretty good character moment for both him and Ben. It's just, why did it like, you didn't have to so crap on his character before we got there. And you only had Han for like 45 minutes. So you really like speed ran making sure that you crapped all over his character. So like, I definitely think Rey could have had potential. And honestly, even up until Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi was terrible, but I was a firm believer in, or like a firm advocate, I guess, of the idea that if the third movie actually commits and actually turns Rey into a Sith, I might have to give it some credit. And I think that like, wow, you actually did something. But no, we got the dagger lines up with the wreckage, just the worst like MacGuffin ever. This and that right there, this is a big one, right, Zippy? They combined many characters and stories into Rey, Finn, and Poe, got sidetracked. Well, like, that's what happens when you sort of don't have a plan and you go and you're being very reactionary, especially to like online discourse and fan reviews and fan criticism, and more importantly, like Wall Street pressure, right? Like it's this whole awful system where you go, okay, here's my first movie. This is where I'm setting up the characters. And then the reaction comes out. And if it's bad, right? Or like depending on how it goes, all of the investors and all of them in some capacity, whether they see, an article or their kids talking about it, they will pick up, someone will, like, oh, people didn't like this. People, or like, oh, people really liked this. They take that to Disney. They say, hey, I want more. Like, the point of this is more money, right? Well, I'm hearing this is what's great. Let's do that. And that might not always line up with the plans that they were working on. So, for example, we went into Force Awakens. We had Poe and Finn and Rey, sort of to the description you're using here, Zippy. Like, they were in their character archetypes, but that was, their lane. Rey was clearly the Luke. Poe was clearly the Han Solo, and Finn was a mix of like Luke and Leia in a sense, right? So you had that, and then at the end, Finn's got, like I said, Finn's got a little force going. Rey's ready to train. Kylo's like super pissed. Cool. Then they heard all the feedback. They went, oh, it's just a retread of A New Hope. Oh shit. Oh crap. What do we got to do? What do we do? I don't really know. And so then they went, Ryan, please help. And Ryan just went, okay, we got to like not retread. We're going to go completely off the rails. And then they go, oh, well, that sucked. And all the fans, like all of us, went, oh, that was awful. So then they go, oh, crap, switch it up again. And that's where you have like this completely disjointed narrative that really, honestly, from like last night in writing up a bunch of coverage of Kathleen Kennedy's exit, I had to go through and grab screenshots from the various movies or whatever. And they feel, honestly, like one of those like films or TV shows where you have everybody like sitting around a campfire and they're telling a legend or a story about somebody. And it's just like a series of vignettes, or like an anthology of just vignettes. That's what the sequel trilogy feels like. None of the only thing shared between all of these movies are the characters. Otherwise, everything else is completely like, oh, you forgot, like, this ignores that movie and this ignores that movie. And it's so bizarre. And it's because it's completely reactive. I'm not going to say, that if you let a single creator or a single vision go through, it's always going to be good. I fucking loathe Attack of the Clones. And that was all George Lucas. Like, I struggle to think of like anything I like in that movie. Even now, like even right now. But I have more respect and a better like I'm more okay and cool with episode 2 because it at least was like the guy tried. That was his vision. All right, it struck out. You didn't have 4 million people trying to make everybody happy at the exact same time. And that's what, again, Kathy isn't looking at this stuff as an artist per se, or somebody who's pushing the medium of movies and cinema. She's looking at this as, I'm in the big business chair now. I got to do the big business thing. I would be genuinely interested if like I could get like a lens into an alternate universe where like Kathleen Kennedy got the job without Disney buying Lucasfilm, right? Like what does it look like if Kathleen Kennedy gets a completely independent Lucasfilm presidency? I would bet money that at least to some extent she would have been more like, we would have been in a better spot because she wouldn't have had all that pressure from Disney, the new boss, the big boss, they're giving us billions to do this stuff. Disney is where that rot is originating from. And, when they buy Fox or when they buy Marvel or when they buy Pixar or when they buy Star Wars or Lucasfilm, it starts infecting them. So it would just be a very interesting alternate reality out there that I would just want to like look into there. Oh yeah, exactly. No, exactly. And that's where I was saying, right? Like Rey, they wanted her to have a hero's journey. They started her on a hero's journey, and then Ryan flipped the script, and then JJ brought it back to like, oh fuck, we want to be back on the hero's journey. But because nobody was talking, nobody was having notes, nobody, like at the very least, have an outline of like, okay, this is what we're doing. Like, this is where it happens here. By the, at the start, we have Rey as a scavenger. End of this all, she's going to be, a Jedi, like an actual pure Jedi. And then you can build to that. But if you just go, I don't know, then you're basically just doing like, you're yes-anding. You're being like kids playing on the playground. You're just adding powers to everything. And it gets really, really rough. Oh man. So Kenny brings up the infamous, I don't even know why I spent the last like 15 minutes talking about the actual like intricate writing, fuck ups, because we could have just pointed to the line in Rise of Skywalker. Somehow Palpatine returned, which was a complete ass pull, completely terrible. However, how do I put this? That is super fucking bad. There is a related bit to that to me even more, like better encompasses how bad this Disney Star Wars experiment was. The message that Poe, they say that they open Rise of Skywalker, they go, we got a message, somehow Palpatine returned. That message was played. It exists. Ian McDiarmid recorded it. They wrote it. It played one time in an exclusive in-game Fortnite event and never again. You literally, if you want your full Star Wars, like even if it's just a sequel trilogy experience, you have to go back in time and play Fortnite. Like that's, I don't know. And it's a big plot point too. Like he explains, I'm on Exegol. This is how I came back. Like I'm back. And they just locked it. It's incredible that they like, it's crazy. Yeah. Attack of the Clones is bad. Like, I know a lot of people like, I don't know why. I genuinely, it's one of those films where I go to people, I go, why do you like Attack of the Clones? Like, what's your favorite part about it? And every time they talk about it, I'm just like, no, I don't know. Like, it didn't work for me. Like, a lot of people say the Django fight. Okay, maybe it was like a bit exciting, but it was still kind of lame. The end arena fight. Well, that is a lot of CG noise. And don't even get me started on Yoda, like being a little hopping gremlin lightsaber fighter. Like, no, dude. Like just no. You know how Yoda fights? Yoda fights with and you are like across the galaxy. That's what he should be. I should never have seen him like sword fighting, you ruining his mystique. Yeah. I think if I have to give a compliment to that movie, I like the visual setting of Camino. I like the idea of an all-water planet where there's, a bunch of errant like facilities and villages popping up out of it, and the very, very sterile look of the Camino in like science rooms or whatever. That's also really generic. So it's not necessarily like Lucas got it right. Yeah, man. Like I do not like Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones still better than 7-9. Better than 8 and 9, maybe. I don't know. Like that's how bad I dislike Attack of the Clones so hard. Yeah. Kenny goes, Attack of the Clones is tough to watch. I do love the scenery at the lake on Naboo. The score is solid. Most of it, though, is bad dialogue and some poor decisions. Would still watch any day over at Disney. I think I would watch Force Awakens over Attack of the Clones. But otherwise, yeah, I'd watch that any other day because at the very least, again, I'm still seeing like Lucas's vision. It's a bad vision. You let him go full Lucas. Don't ever let him go full Lucas. This is why you needed Marshall Lucas on the original trilogy. But it was still like his vision. And I can respect that more than marketing research and social media chatter and all, what is the best decision that's going to make us the most money? Yes, absolutely. Zippy says, I do think KK had a personal hand in the creative control. She could not leave well enough alone. Yeah, so obviously she did have a hand in the creative side of it because she's still president. She still has to, pardon me, overview these things, greenlight these things. Do we want to promote this? Lucasfilm is a big company. It's still a little smaller than Disney. There's not, 700 divisions where she has different heads that she's delegated these tasks to. She's still going to see them. And that's where she might not have been like on the ground going like, oh, change this character to that, do this and that and this and that. But when you go, oh, do we want to do, this movie, or do we want to do The Acolyte? Let's do The Acolyte. That's where she has her creative pool. And so from the top down, it sets the tone and culture of what you're going for. And unfortunately, she went for the, please clap, like, oh yay, everything's new. I don't know. She went really, really bad. And a scary part about this, I'll get into that in a second. I'll get into the scary part in a second. Okay, they fly now. I love that line. Like, it's so stupid. It's so fucking awful. Just like, not even in terms of Star Wars, just in terms of writing. It's so bad that I've horseshoed on it. So like I say it all the time now. Like, they fly now. They fly now. They fly now. Andrew says it was just as bad, if not worse, that how he returned in the old EU, which that storyline was bad. Who are we talking? Boba or Django or a bunch of different people? Like, yeah, they do bring back a lot. See, I actually don't think it was an absolute Force Awakens is just a more hyper version of A New Hope. Things are a little more like energized because they have more technology and things like that. It might not communicate to us the same, which it didn't, but you can see like the whole flight away from Jakku. It was like in A New Hope, Han barely gets out of the Mos Eisley port when Jabba's forces are there, and then the Imperials start shooting at them. In Force Awakens, the Imperials are there, and they do like flips inside of the destroyed like base or whatever, or the walker. It's still the same stuff, just a little hyper elevated. And yeah, like my biggest complaint about that movie was A, it's a retread, and B, they were Mary suing Rey. Like, my biggest issue with that movie is the scene where she does the Force mind, the Jedi mind trick out of no, like, she hasn't learned it, she doesn't know it, and she just heard or saw somebody do it. I forget which one it is. I think like, yeah, Kylo does it, and then she's like perfect at it. Even like, and like Obi-Wan had to do 3 times to get all, like, he had to do the message in chunks to get it to across. Rey just does it like once or twice, and the stormtrooper is immediately like letting her go, opening the door, you know, whatever. That was my big complaint, but I still thought there was a lot of potential there, especially with Kylo Ren. Like, I still think Kylo Ren is a good character. He had the potential, even being the whiny bitch like that. I like that aspect for his character. That's a good flaw for his character. And I really do love that final fight between him and Finn, especially when like Finn picks up like the lightsaber and then he ignites it, and then Kylo, I think he got like blasted in the side, right? Or he got hit by like a tree, like bark debris or whatever, and he just like starts like hitting his side and like and going like crazy. I was like, oh my, like, this is sick. Like, oh man, like, he's a Sith, but he's also like an unhinged Sith. Let's go. And then they dropped everything. For me, Attack of the Clones is, look at my Shakespeare, you know, fan fiction. And then it's also bad pacing because it's the middle movie of your trilogy, and Lucas dumps like all of the very, very technical exposition in there, specifically about how the, you know, council, like the Galactic Council works, and the clones and the hierarchies and everything. Like, it just becomes boring to me. And again, this is all personal things. I'm not here to convince you that you should like Force Awakens more than like Attack of the Clones. If you like Attack of the Clones more, all power to you. I can't stand that movie. How, like, see, I hated the Yoda fight even back when I was like, what, 12, 14, whenever that movie came out. Like, you ruined the mystique of super, like, you're the guy. You should not be fighting, right? That was kind of cool. Yeah, Watto being like, what? Like, oh, what are we doing here? I can't believe it. Oh, man. Yeah, Zero is here. Zero says, man, this is unreal. She's finally out after years of Doomcog lying to people that she was leaving. Yeah, can we like just like take a moment to like at least like we don't have to hear that anymore. We don't have to hear every other week Kathleen's gone and get 400 videos about it, all citing Doomcock, who, like, I've talked to the guy as a person. He's nice, he's cool, he's funny. Come on, guy. Like, you're like Zero points out, the guy's been saying she's being gone like since I joined Bounding Into Comics back in like 2018. It's been a while. So yeah, at the very least, she's gone, or like that doesn't have to happen anymore. And it is kind of surreal. It is very surreal to finally go like, wow, Kathleen Kennedy is no longer in the building at Lucasfilm. And like, yeah, it does roll off the tongue very oddly. Oh yeah, Baby Boba Fett was bad. I do like Django. Yeah, Django was a cool actor. I forget the guy's name. Who was that? That's it's the guy. I'm totally blanking on his name. We all know who I'm talking about. But yeah, Django was great. Baby Boba Fett was stupid. I always laugh to myself because I hate that moment where he runs out onto the battlefield amidst like the clone troopers are already coming in. So it was already Jedi versus, you know, bugs. And now you've got the clones like actively landing and deploying and all of this stuff. Baby Jang or Baby Boba like runs out and like grabs his like dad's severed head and like touches it to his head. I was always like, this is like, why would you do that? And I always thought it would be so funny if he like picks it up, taps the head, like taps it, and then like the head actually just like falls out of the helmet. Like that would have made me crack the hell up. No, I'm not giving excuses for Kathleen Kennedy. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to make sure that we're being intellectually honest. It is so easy to go, oh no, that sucked because it was woke. Oh, that sucked because Kathleen was on it. But that doesn't mean anything. We could say that forever. What does mean something is pointing out, this is what was good, this is where they failed, and how they failed. Because as much as we want to paint people like her or Todd Howard or Bob Iger as like, super villains, they are still at the end of the day like human people who I do not believe in my soul are going in, like they don't buy Star Wars to go, all right, I can't wait to fuck it up. They're trying it. They're not like, the tries aren't good. The end results are bad, but it's, to me, it's the fat person in the gym philosophy that I've always talked about, which is, are you in the gym? Like, you might be fat and you might be in the gym, and you know what? I will never make fun of you. A lot of people will go like, man, fatty's at the gym, like go home. And it's like, no, you're trying, like you're putting in some effort. We're cool here. If you were to stop and, start complaining about everything and go like, everybody's so this or I'm so that, like, I would go, yeah, you're being a piece of shit. I don't have anything behind you. So while I think Kathleen Kennedy is completely not right for the job and completely had the wrong lens on it, I can't fault her, for being like, let me rephrase that, because we can't fault her a lot. I still think, like I said, it's a combination of Disney buying and her not being right for the job that just led to this moment where even if she was trying her best, it was going to be bad because she was just not in that right mindset. And who knows, like, even as we'll get into it, she does have, some admitted, like, points that I agree on about her time at Lucasfilm. So like, rarely will I ever completely write anybody off as, you're woke, you're stupid, like whatever, right? Like I'm not that intellectually stupid and I respect you guys out there, with like the watchers of this stream and the readers of Bounding Into Comics, way more than to just berate you guys with, agree with me because it's all bad. And then you guys look stupid when you go out in public because they go, why is it bad? And you just go, cause, right? So I will always call Kathleen Kennedy. I'll call anybody out on their bullshit whenever it arises, right? But I'm also not going to unfairly just harangue somebody. The Emperor. Okay, yeah, that's what you were talking about. But that storyline, at least, like, that storyline is bad. The EU one where like Palpatine makes a bunch of clones and like also Luke and tries to take over Luke. Like, it's bad. I would be lying though, Andrew, if I didn't say there's a small little affinity that I have for it because it's so comic booky, right? Like 90s clones, like mind transferring. What are we doing here, guys? Like, it's so pulp and so ridiculous that I can't help but at least be like, you have fun, little buddy. Let's see. Have the out of print 4K Skywalker Saga that was exclusive to Best Buy. Is that the one that's got like the big case and it's like the blue packaging and then it's the cover art is like the Tatooine desert? I have that one. I'm pretty sure I have that one. Someday, like, I gave up after that set on trying to like buy new Star Wars or whatever, because they're always going to make newer and newer and newer editions. And I'm pirating at this point until you give me like, here is the collection where you have every cut, every version of these movies is here right now for you to watch, right? Like, just do that. Okay, that is true, Kenny. I'll tip my hat. I'll give my respect to the true hero of Star Wars, Dexter Jetster, right? Like, that's true. I should commit seppuku. I am bad, or like I'm stupid for that one. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Kenny. Yes, it was Tamora Morrison. I saw like the vague shape in my head, and I knew that like if I said it, I was gonna be like Tamara Mowry, and I'm like, no, that's sister. Zero. Yeah, it got to a point where it became a crying wolf situation. Well, you'll notice this, if you guys look back, across 2025, but more the latter half of it, with I think the Acolyte was kind of like the big last burst of people really caring about I think that was where everybody went like, all right, who cares? Like, okay, there's Star Wars news. Who really, really cares? Now it's kind of like, oh, there's a sale at the grocery store. Great. Cool. All right. Except more people would be excited about the sale. So a lot of channels who built their entire identities on Star Wars, and especially trashing it, had to jump. And what's a really easy thing to do? Kathleen Kennedy's leaving. Kathleen Kennedy's leaving, especially because a lot of these, sources, a lot of these personalities, they don't vet anything, guys. They see a tweet that says, rumor, Kathleen Kennedy out. They don't try to ask, they don't look at who started that rumor. They don't try and ask for a source. They just run with it. And that's really easy to do because every other day there's a new rumor about what the fuck ever. The MCU is doing a complete reset. Oh, this character is cast in the MCU. Oh, this is happening now. Oh, that's happening now. Like, you'll notice I even stopped covering a lot of these rumors and previews and stuff because A, nobody cares anymore, and B, all of this stuff changes from day to day. There are rumors upon rumors about pretty much anything you can think of, right? One of my favorite examples is before The Force Awakens came out, when I'm hanging out on the internet and I saw, I think I was either on 4chan or I was on Twitter, and I saw a post that was like, spoilers, don't know who's seen it yet, can't believe they killed off Luke Skywalker in the new Star Wars. And for about an hour, I was like, oh my, fuck. That's a huge spoiler. What the fuck? I'll get over it, but that's a huge gut punch. I just felt bad. And then a couple hours later, I saw another tweet or post that came out of the movie, Han Solo died, cannot believe this. Then I saw another one that went, Chewie dies. And I went, all right, at this point, everybody died. There's a rumor for everybody dying. I'm officially back at, ground zero where I don't know anything about where this might be going. Awesome. I read somewhere that she's going to remain with Disney or Lucasfilm as a producer, which as long as the only thing she's handling is acquiring funds, fine. Well, she's not necessarily staying on. She is writing out, right? Because she is still the Star Wars Starfighter, the Gosling movie is still in development, and then the Grogu and the Mandalorian, that bullshit, that she's still attached, she's still producing those, and they're just going to let her stay on as a producer, even though she's not president anymore. And then she's out. And she's probably just going to go, I don't know, be a consultant somewhere. Yeah. Absolutely. Here, executive is good at one thing, not good at managing creative. KK is like Lucas, fine if they are working with the team, not so much when in charge. Exactly. I think the biggest thing, the big criticism I would level at Kathleen, because I'm with you, Zippy, she is not innocent. She should have understood either, she goes in and she, gets a couple stumbles and fucks up. It's on her at that point to right the ship. She's in charge. So if she's saying this isn't going right, it's up to her to go, what do I do? Am I going in the wrong direction? Do we switch this up? That's her job. Or does she even go, hey, I'm going to bring in Dave Filoni, which she did eventually, but not near the beginning. I'm going to bring in somebody to help me make sense of all of this and make Star Wars go in a better direction. Filoni, we'll get into Filoni in a second. So the fact that she never did, that's completely on her, right? You can have a friend who you love to death, and they might have, let's say they have an alcohol problem. Okay, you tell them, or you try to let them know. You go, okay, hey man, that last party got a little out of control. Let's reel it back, and then he keeps doing it, and he keeps doing it, and you keep telling him. Eventually, you get to a point where you go, you need to do something here. Like, I can't be here to help you. And now we all rightfully go like, look, we want to hang out with Dave, but he is not taking any responsibility for his, alcoholism, and it sucks and it's affecting all of us. That's on you. And that's where, like, she should have long ago. I would have given her after the Force Awakens. There should have been a very pointed moment where Kathleen Kennedy went, I'm getting help, right? I'll be nice. While I would have preferred her in that moment to go like, I'm stepping down, like, I can't do this. We're all human. She wants to prove it. I'll be nice. I'll be generous, and I'll let her, like, save that face. But the fact that she didn't, and that she kept just operating as she was, that's completely on her. I'm never going to, like, that's a bad business move. That's the Blu-ray set you're thinking of. Okay, yeah, the 4K set is a huge horizontal Vox with the, okay, I now I see which one you're talking about. Yeah, I only have the Blu-ray one. Yeah, that 4K set's got to be, I've seen it in person. It is very, very nice. The Emperor clone drama could be good with the right kind of suspense writing, i.e. Andor, but yeah, right? Like, you could have done something. Like, we've had clone stories work before, and like you said, I'm sure if we all sat here, like, we could come up with some good suspense as to how, like, Luke is slowly, being taken over, or the clones pop up. I just don't think, like, A, obviously we didn't get that, and B, we would have never gotten that under Kathleen Kennedy. Like we just absolutely wouldn't have, because for, like, we know we've seen her track record, right? The main problem I have with corporate in the last decade is changing a brand's demographic from male to anything else, replacing what worked with something new. And 3 is more of the loss of quality in actors, writers. Yep, no quality control, which makes everything else suffer. Exactly. And all of that, right? Like, that links back to the very core problem with the corporatism of it all, of all these companies being bought up and being turned into big businesses, is that it is more important than ever it is more of a priority than ever to, like, you got to make sure that line goes up. Your number one duty, your number one loyalty is to your shareholder and to your stock. It is not to this franchise, these characters, these fans, this art. It is, how am I going to get another dollar, right? How am I going to get 50 cents up next quarter? And because of that, what do? They go, oh, let's change this demographic to get everybody in. Oh yeah, all the boys are always going to be fans of Star Wars. They're already fans. Let's go for the girls, right? Or vice versa, with 1,000,004 things we've seen before. Then, they replace it because they go, oh, well, I don't know why they all get captured like this, where they go, oh, we got to be hip, we got to be new, we got to be on it. And that, like, it's a fundamental misunderstanding of what we're working with here. And that makes us, who do understand it, go like, what is this? Like, this is not for us. And so now you have no audience whatsoever. And then you cut corners. You make it super easy. The volume, green screens, if you can save $1,000 by not hiring, by not flying an actor out to film a scene, they'll save it because they're that stupid. And that said, I did not hate. Oh, okay, whoa. My really there was, I thought you just said you did not hate Ep8, but you're being specific about what you didn't like in Last Jedi. Whew, okay, Zippy, I was about to be like, man, I don't even know how to respond to that. I did not hate Episode 8, Jake Skywalker, because the dark side is like a drug that rots the mind. So Luke going hermit is okay, but they did not use it well. I actually agree with that really, really hard. I actually was really on board with the idea of, like, Luke, because what do we know from the original trilogy? When he goes to confront Vader on Bespin, Yoda's like, dude, you are not ready. Like, this is too early for you. You're jumping through this. And he goes, no, like, I'm going to go anyway. Then we go to Return of the Jedi, which is only about, like, a year or two, if that, not even 2. I think it's only like a year or so after the events of Empire, or even a couple months. And Luke has gone out and done more training, but he's still like, even as Yoda passes away, he still admits, like, I'm not like, are you sure I'm ready? Like, I know I'm a Jedi master, but like, I don't know about this. Like, I don't know about taking the training wheels off. The idea, like, I can see it being a very good, realistic arc for Luke. You know, Empire's down, Vader and Palpatine are down. I'm the hero now. Like, the Jedi rest on me. Let's move forward. Young, inexperienced kid who's had all of this, like, you know, accolades and responsibility and heroism, like, thrown at him. I can see him not necessarily like letting it get to his head, like, and becoming a dick, but getting overwhelmed, right? Like, oh my, like, I did not expect, like, this was what it was all going to be. This is fucking hard. Like, this is way harder than just, you know, getting my hand cut off and realizing my dad was evil. Like, I'm trying to, like, replenish a planet from a seat. Like, this is crazy. And then, you know, I can see him getting disillusioned. Like, oh my God, like, I don't, everything I thought I knew about the Force, like, it's not real. Like, and then instead of being like, the Force is dumb, it's stupid, go away, you change that into, I'm not a good teacher. Like, I can't teach you. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, I have learned that. I know I'm strong, but I cannot teach. And then, you know, episode 8 plays out. You know, even if you wanted to keep it pretty much the same, you have it play out, and Luke comes to realize, like, oh, I actually do know more about this than I thought. And instead of dying at the end of that fight with, like, Kylo, he, like, barely hangs on. And now he's, like, full, like, no more combat for Luke. Now he's, like, wise sage mode forever. Dark side is a hell of a drug. Yeah, I remember grinding my feet into his couch. No, it would be I remember grinding my feet into his like, what's that game, like the electro chessboard? I remember that. God, I love that show so much. Hell, you know what? Just a side recommendation that I will double down with, Hibiki. You should watch all the episodes of Kamen Rider Zets right now. There's a new episode tonight at, like, later. I don't remember the exact time. I get the YouTube notifications. But yes, I'm digging Zets. I'm digging Zets a lot. Hibiki says, wonder if Marvel Rivals has voice chat. It does. It has team chat with the people in your party, or if you're partied up, you can chat with them. Bingo, bingo, bingo. Executive class is out of touch and think a large install base of consumers means they won't lose momentum. Cars, electronics, guns, yeah, everything falls to the curse of new plus better. I mean, the easiest one that I always point out is cars, right? Like, oh, we can auto start it, and you don't, and it's a fob, keyless activation, all this crap, and it's like, oh, this car breaks down in a second, and if I need to repair it, I have to undo the entire chassis because all of the wiring is interconnected. Whereas if my, 2003 gas and key powered thing, flops, I just got to, like, kick open the hood or just the light, like, bay. Like, it is really, to give it a slight political angle, it is very funny that, for the past few years, the conservative, or not conservative, that's more like American centric, but, just generally in the world, the right leaning sort of, one of the right's messages or like marketing angles was, they, like Davos, the, the WEF, all the, all the liberals, they want you to, own nothing, be happy, live in a pod, eat bugs. And they're correct in calling that out. Like, credit where credit is due. That is something that the right-leaning people had a good eye on, like, don't do that to us. However, as we've seen with particularly Trump 2 right now, a lot of those, especially in the corporate arena, the ones who were all about that, who were bleeding, oh, don't, oh, you're going to live in the pod, you're going to eat the bugs. They're now trying to tell you, like, oh, you should do this because it'll give us more, it'll be better for business. We can make more profit this way. We can do this and that and this. And so it's just sort of sad that both sides, like, truly, this is a both sides thing, are both on that bent from different angles. Because, like, like on the left side, they want you to own nothing and be happy because you got to share it with everybody. Like everybody needs everything. On the right, they don't want you to own anything or be happy because that means you can pay a subscription and keep giving them money, right? Why sell you a video game one time for $60 when I can keep charging you $10, in perpetuity? So it is, and it sucks too, because like that's why I always like try to clarify, like I'm artist first more than like any political thing first, because it's so like, how do I come out and say like this is all bad? Or let me rephrase that. How do I come out and go like, I believe in making money. I believe in that capitalist system. Like that's the one that works. That's the one that makes the most sense. But can we also like not always make money the number one priority here? Like, are we okay with that? So like, where's the middle ground there? But you are completely latching on to like everything there, right? Which is why it's really important not like to watch and support and buy and play or whatever indie stuff, because not necessarily, I mean, it's great to support them, but also for us, for you, because that's where you're gonna find a lot of the building of experiences that we've all thought we would be going towards. You know what I mean? Absolutely, Andrew. That's why I say screw them all. No politician is trustworthy. I think I was maybe talking to you about this because it's just like, I find it eternally insane, everyone, when somebody is a genuine like fan of a politician. Like, okay, you can like a politician. Okay, you voted for him, sure. But when you have like, again, whether it's like a Biden shirt or an Obama shirt or a Trump shirt or the hat or whatever, like when you're all like, that's your thing. I don't know, man. Like here's Amazing Spider-Man #1. Please get any other hot, like I'm going to help you here. Yeah. Oh yeah. Original trilogy saber fights are bad, limited by budget. Wire work kung fu was not at a high level back then. I kind of like in the original trilogy that it's a little more reserved, because the only real lightsaber fights you see are between Luke and Vader, and I can believe like Luke being, a little naive, a little experienced, and then Vader, he's like, I've always thought this, but like Vader's like the Kenner action figures at this point, right? Like he can only like move his arms up and down and his legs like up and down, can't bend, no joints, no knees, no elbows because of the damn lava. Yep, Kenny, I got my Camry new in 2017. It has the key with a fob and no auto start. Have to turn the ignition still. Boom. I would be fine with that as long as I have to spark it to make it like go. That I trust more than hopefully the Wi-Fi signals are good, or hopefully there hasn't been an update that like causes an issue or whatever. Like it's such a small, like, I know it's hyperbolic, but the idea of like, oh shit, I'm stuck in the snow. I need to, get out of my car. And I try to open it and it's all locked down because of like an app error, or I don't have Wi-Fi service or something. Like, I refuse to die in such a dumb way. Like, I refuse to die in such a dumb way. Oh no, right. Hates the individual as much as the uni party is real. Hail Hydra, dude. Just like regardless of where you guys stand, just to sort of put a stamp on that, I saw a video. I don't know what they're doing, what they're promoting or working on, but Howard Lutnick of the Trump cabinet was like Chuck Schumer, the Dem leader, was hanging out with him and like at an event, like promoting something. And then like a reporter came up and was trying to ask Schumer, like, why, like, what are you doing here? Like, why are you working? And he was just like, oh, we're not doing that. That's not what this is about today. And it's just like, you absolute cuck, right? Like you suck so hard. Well, okay, Kenny, imagine these corporate gangsters trying to get people to pay for a new level of ET in 1982 when all he did was fall down a hole. I mean, yes, I know you're okay. So you're talking about the video game. I know you are, which is like, we do kind of get that nowadays. But then it reminds me of, they kind of did that with like the walkie-talkie edition. And then they went, oh, wait, never mind. Here's the normal editions again. Like, Star Wars is the worst. Like, they started it, like 100% started that. But it still like, I still see all these other studios doing it. Yep, competition is poison to centralization. always, every single time. The pacing and setting of the saber fights in Empire and Jedi or Return of the Jedi is still great. Ep 1 and Return of the Sith is great too, though too. I love Duel of the Fates. I love, the battle on Mustafar. My favorite actual like lightsaber moment is actually from episode 1, and it's not a fight. It's in the very beginning when the Trade Federation like traps Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and like Obi-Wan's like immediate reaction is like a lightsaber and like tries to start cutting, but it's not it's like, oh, it's resistant, like it can't cut all the way through. I'm like, that's Star Wars. Like, Lucas, you boring kind of genius. Like, that's the kind of shit I'm here for. That's what I want. Yeah, E.T. the game, the movie is my fave of all time, along with Jaws. What about King Kong, the movie, the game, which is, I don't know if you guys remember this, but back in the 360 era, they made a King Kong game after the Peter Jackson movie, and it was like the original walking simulator. Like, it's kind of just like quick time events and push the stick. It's really bad. But so on this talk of centralization and hating the art and the individualism, let's get to where was it? I want to highlight the thing I was talking about where I was like, all right, Kennedy, you have something there. Like, I can't disagree with you, which is let's see. Is it right here? No, it is producing. People asked us. She like slams them. Where is that part? That part was so cool. It's the only part I was like giving her credit for. That's what it is. Okay, so in the interview, she at one point, like I think I touched on it, but she gets asked like, what were the highs of running Lucasfilm and what were the lows of running Lucasfilm? And she goes, the highs, obviously, just being involved in Star Wars, being able to be in that universe, talk to people. I love Star Wars. It was great. Like, kind of a generic answer. When she goes into the lows, at first she starts with obviously, and I will give her credit. It's growth. It doesn't erase, all old rhetoric or anything, but it's growth. She does say, like, the thing I hated the most was the insane backlash, like the insane negativity. But she is very, very, very clear that it is like a very small percentage of Star Wars fans and not everybody, which is like, even a year ago, we would have had like Leslie Headland telling us like, all Star Wars fans are this awful because you're, a guy and you suck. Right. So it's like, all right, a little bit of growth there. I can acknowledge that. But after, she talks about, I just didn't like that negativity. She gets into this bit right here where she's talking about, I understand the backlash. I know why people were, upset or where it came from. But at the end of the day, everybody who came to Star Wars was really trying to like they did love Star Wars, even if it was a bad project. Like, they came into it with love. And she acknowledges that right here. And she says, quote, that's what I think I do well. And that's what I click things. Shit. And what she's talking about doing well is like what Andrew was saying earlier. Like, she's talking about producing, like, I'm really good at doing all that. So, quote, she goes, that's what I think I do well. And that's what I like to do and want to continue to do. And hopefully that took Star Wars into the next step. We'll see in the long run, but it feels like it did. I feel like we expanded the universe. We brought new audiences in. And I think that's the most difficult thing to do with franchises in general, but especially with something like Star Wars, where George just created something that became a part of everybody's childhood. Every single filmmaker that walks in and wants to work on Star Wars, the first thing they say to me, the first thing I hear is, let me tell you about when I went to see Star Wars for the first time with my dad. And so from there, later, she is asked for a status update on the various projects that were greenlit under her watch, but will be completed, after her exit. So James Mangold's movie, Taika Waititi's movie, the somebody else has who was it who has something else in development? Simon Kinberg, the guy who freaking destroyed Dark Phoenix twice on the silver screen. So she's asked about that, and she drops a pretty interesting bit. So there's two parts to it. She's going through everything. Taika gave me a script. James Mangold's movie's on hold. Donald Glover gave me a script for Lando, and then she goes, "As you've read, Steve Soderbergh and let me go back up to it. Where are we? Oh yeah, there we go. Quote, and as you have read, Steve Soderbergh and Adam Driver turned in a script written by Scott Burns. It was just great. Anything's a possibility if somebody's willing to take a risk. I remember when I came into this job, the first thing Bob Iger said to me was, quote, be bold. I've always liked that because I think you have to be bold and you have to be willing to take risks with people and with ideas. Otherwise, you are just doing the same thing. Right now, we're in an era where companies are so risk averse, and I get it. I hear all the conversations. They've got Wall Street to please, and I get it. But I also believe that's what contributes to things disappearing ultimately. I just think you have to take those chances. Everything I just reeled off to you is taking a bit of a chance because none of those filmmakers are just walking in trying to do the same old, same old. I'm excited by that, but the studio's nervous about that. And that's kind of where it sits at the moment. So first, the first thing to address is, I'm sure we all have heard about the Hunt for Ben Solo film. I've been wondering all day how that was going to sound when I said it out loud. Not bad, but it was going to be, Adam Driver said it was like the coolest script he had ever worked on. He was super excited about it. Coming from Steven Soderbergh, who he worked on Logan Lucky with, really good actor, really good director. Took it to Lucasfilm. Everybody at Lucasfilm went, great. Took it to Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy said, this is awesome. Go for it. Took it, through the channels over at Disney, and they were like, this is good. All right, yep. Got to Bob Iger, who is the CEO of Disney, and then Alan Bergman, who is the Walt Disney Company, like CEO, like the studio entity, and then like the overall entity. And they both went, why is Ben alive? Because that's what the plot was. The plot was through some way that they haven't, told us yet or revealed. Ben would have come back temporarily to take care of some, loose ends, unfinished business. Iger and Bergman heard the pitch and they went, how is he alive? We're not doing that. And they just at the top, they went, no. So it's interesting to me that Kennedy's going, well, it could still happen, because you know what that shows? To me, this is more of what we were talking about with Galaxy's Edge, where they're finally letting in original trilogy characters. That feels like, oh, we're recognizing what the fans actually want now in this new era. And if fans really do want that Ben Solo movie, maybe we give them that instead of a Taika film or something, right? So it's just very interesting that it does seem like there is a change coming with Kathleen's exit. And while initially it looks like we could be having something cool, right? Like everything Kathleen said there was more inspiring than I think I've heard from her in the last 14. It's what really my final fear here, and this is something like I've been trying to get to, and look at that. It all worked out naturally that it's going to come up right up here at the end, is even though Kathleen is gone now, right? We still have Dave Filoni to contend with. And the problem here, right? You know what? Lin-Win Berman or Brennan, I'm sure you're fine. I actually have you're good. You're probably going to be a great, finance person. I genuinely kind of want to believe that. But Filoni, not only have we seen his writing style and, what he wants to do with Star Wars in everything from Ahsoka to Rebels to Mandalorian, right? Which is make everything a little more safe and pop culture focused, right? With, Sabine can use the Force now, even though all the writers on Rebels were like, we are never going to make Sabine a Jedi. But that's a big character who gets a big moment. And let me see if I can pull it up, the source. Yeah. So with that, there was another article about the whole shakeup from not from Netflix, from how did I only I copied one letter. I copied N. My subconscious is racist. But of course it is. Well, anyway, over here at the Wrap, there's another deep dive into what Kennedy's exit actually means, and there's a very interesting note that, according to like an insider who works over at Lucasfilm, is involved in Star Wars, Filoni did not like Andor, and specifically, Filoni apparently didn't like Andor because there were not characters that you could recognize like at every moment. Like Filoni, that like, if there's even a spark of truth to that, the fact that Filoni is one of those people who's like, I want the seal clapping, and the seal clapping should be the point. Dear God, like seriously? That's not a good direction for us, right? Like think of all of the joke, like, scripts or takes or whatever that people have been making about Avengers Doomsday with its cast, where it's like, I even say it, where like Doomsday is just going to be 3 hours of roll call. Like, hi, I'm Steve Rogers. Hi, I'm Janet Van Dyne. Hi, I'm, like, it's going to be that because there's so many people. It feels like that's what Filoni wants for Star Wars. He wants all of us to go like, oh, it's Luke. Oh, it's, Zeb. It's blah, 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 blah. And that's not a good way to lead, and not a good way to, like, that's not a good creative direction. It gets you a minute, like a burst of excitement on social media where people go, oh, look, it's, it's Glup Shitto. It won't translate into toys. It won't translate into, people recommending your show because they go, yeah, it's got cameos, but nothing else to it. Andor, people liked Andor because that was very much Tony Gilroy going like, I have a story. I'm in this world. I want to like engage with this world. Fuck out of here with your lightsabers and all that nonsense. And like, there was another world out there where Filoni helped too much on Andor, and like every episode ends with, oh, hi, I'm the little baby Leia. Nice to meet you. And everybody can go, oh, and it's just, like just awful. That was on me, everybody. I hit backwards on my browser and it took me out of the StreamYard. But whoopsies. You know what though? That's actually kind of a nice little break because we are coming up at our 2.5 hours. I'll jump back to the main screen. I'll close out the chat with you guys, see what's going up, and we'll get out of here. But Kathleen Kennedy, it is the end of an era, for better or worse. My really honest thoughts are that, we're not going to get anything better here, right? Not to say that Kathleen was giving us good stuff, but we're not going to see an improvement, especially if Filoni is the one leading the charge on all of this, because I think we're all over that. I think we're all over the Endgame portal moment. I think we all, pop culture has moved on past that. Let's see. All right, back to you guys. Oh yeah, no, that's what I mean, Zippy. Like, yeah, he could cut through the door. It was just with the blast shields down. Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, that felt realistic. Like, you have your lightsaber, but it's not the magic wand. It's not Harry Potter. You're not just gonna go like woohoo and everything is good. I liked seeing him like, oh, we gotta like slash through this. Like, I really, really like that. Yep, yeah, awesome moment. Also, Williams bringing in the Jedi theme, and then Rune Hako saying they're still coming through. Oh man, like, it's so good. And you know what? I even like the pod racing bit. I genuinely do. Maybe I was like the right kid age for that to hit and like imprint on my brain, but I love that damn pod racing bit. Yeah, Punk, I don't know if you're here anymore. I know you bounced, but absolutely. If you share it around in the Discord, I only ask for it direct here because, again, YouTube, it has to be me or Andrew or, one of the other mods who are around to drop it. yeah, if the things she produces going forward are all broken messes, we know she's influencing the creative side. Like, that's going to be the big question here, right? Because now, without being in a position of like presidency, other people have to allow her in to be a producer. She can't just go like, okay, I'm going to be on this, or like I'm on this by default. And I just, again, even for all the grace I am giving Kathleen Kennedy, I don't have confidence in her meeting where we are right now in terms of entertainment, in terms of media, in terms of fan relations with this stuff. To me, I would imagine a good next act for her would be something of a curator for like a big like the Kennedy Center, like one of those like levels, or a like a financier, like Andrew was saying, like, help get that money and then get that onto projects. I think she'd be great at that. I'm with you, Zip. No more creative for right now. Like, at least for right now, take a step away. Yep, brought in new that I was laughing at that when I was reading that part of her quote. Like, it brought in new audiences, and then but what happened to the rest of them? And it really got to a point. I think now they're aware that they can't pull this bullshit anymore, but it really got to a point where they were taking us for granted, right? They would go, "Oh, Spencer, you like Spider-Man, you like Star Wars, you like Batman, whatever. You are going to buy this no matter what. I don't care. I don't need to advertise to you. I don't need to appeal to you. You're already here." And it's like, okay, maybe you're right, but also fuck you for like if that's how you're going to view me, then piss off. Like, you're not obliged to my business. For 10 years of failed new for new sake, everything is finally getting them to, I know, right? Like 10, 14 years, whatever, how long, like it should not have gotten to this point. I genuinely want to see the books, because I got to see like some omniscient value indicator for like what the brand was worth before you guys took it over and what happened afterwards. Because it can't be, shout out, even though I hate the show, shout out to Leslie Headland, the creator of The Acolyte. She gave an interview a couple months ago where she was like, at this point, I think Star Wars like content and people bitching about it and like talking about it and criticizing it is going to be more influential and memorable than the actual like shows and movies. And it's like, yeah, and that's because of Lucasfilm. You guys dropped the ball right here by just not changing anything. So everybody kind of accepted like this is what it is, and it's gone. We've all got to move on. Paula, what is going on? How nice to see you. Have a question. Do you think Reeves would play a great Darth Revan? Yes. Actually, yes. Especially if he goes like that super amnesiac route. I actually do think Keanu could do a really good Revan. I would want him to play it with slightly more emotion than he does his Shadow, right? Because his Shadow and his John Wick are more like reserved badasses. And I would want him to be a little more like almost take a small bite out of the Adam Driver Kylo Ren apple and just be like a little more aggressive, a little more loud, which is a deviation for him for sure. But I think pushing him into that small change and then letting him run, and especially with Revan, I fucking love Revan. He's my favorite. Yep. Yeah, exactly, Zippy. Andor was the best thing Star Wars in the last decade, and it was not even a Star Wars show per se. I was talking to some friends the other day, and it's like, if you like, where are all the aliens? That show could have taken place in like Nicaragua or like Cuba or something, right? Which is still a good show, but I'm with you. It's like, where's the Star Wars? Yeah, just a little bit more of the Star Wars, and it doesn't have to take much. You just got to put in a couple aliens here or there, right? Or a very alien machine instead of just like a brain zapper, things like that. Yes, I can't. Yeah, I cannot wait for episode 18 later. Yeah, send me a friend request, Hibiki. I would love to play some Marvel Rivals. I've got to grind my ass this season to get that level 10. Like the final page of the battle pass is that incredible disco Fantastic Four Invisible Woman skin. I'm going to be on there a lot. I'm going to be on there a lot. Filoni is not going to do anything to improve it. Totally agree with you. Yeah, Kenny, right? Like, I have no confidence in that man. Yes, episode 1 also showed Force Run. Force users are superhuman. They are, and but like they have access to superhuman abilities. But I still like the idea of like their tool is still the tool, right? Like it's like Finn can pick up the lightsaber and fight with it, but it's weird. He doesn't understand how it's supposed to go. That kind of thing. Yeah. I still cheer like Watto and say Sebulba. Man, I like this. Now this is pod racing is like it's like a brain worm. I say it all the time when like things are going well, like in a video game, like, oh, we victory royale. Now this is pod race. Like, there we go, boys. Yep, the pod race on a big flat screen TV with a great sound system is incredible. I will say one of the most like broken up guy things moments I've ever been in my life was back in 2020 after my like long-term girlfriend of like 4 or 5 years. She had dumped me. I'd lost my job because of COVID. We were in lockdown or whatever. I'm alone in my apartment with my dogs. I have a giant flat screen that I like it's my TV, and I put that on and I just like watched that like alone, like locked down, and I was like, this rules. And then when it ended, I went like, it does rule, but I gotta remember that things can rule more than this because this could be dangerous for me. Luke drinking green milk. Luke eat a Snickers. Yeah, why you become a homeless bum and you're hungry. Oh man, that would be someday. I really hope. Well, I mean, I don't know how much longer Mark Hamill has on this planet, but like someday they got to do a commercial like that where they completely poke fun at, like, he hates it too. He hates what they did with Luke. Yep, if this body is not capable of action, I suggest new leadership is needed. I move for a vote of no confidence in Chancellor Kennedy's leadership. Well, but then you get but Misa give all support behind Chancellor Kennedy. She can save us here. The entire galactic empire arises from freaking Jar Jar. Like, never forget that. Oh yeah, absolutely, Kenny. Yeah, she's right about one thing. The majority of that show's ratings were hate watching and like reaction watching. Exactly, right? Like, a lot of people watched that. They would watch a recap from your favorite like YouTuber. They're not going to watch the actual show because there's nothing to get out of that show. But your YouTuber can entertain you. They can make jokes. They could give you like, here's a critique, and then you can take that and think about it, right? Like, it makes complete and total sense to me. I've heard that Abeloth might be coming to Ahsoka season 2, and Portman might be returning as Padme, and Abeloth will take her form to deceive That might be like the only thing you could have, like, anybody could have said to get me anywhere interested in Ahsoka season 2, because that would be super interesting. I'm not against it. I'm maybe against Filoni helming it because we know how he's going to handle it, but like as a concept, not entirely against that. Let's see. Yes, Keanu Darth Revan teamed up with Station from Bogus Journey. Let's make it happen. There we go. You know what? Direct to Hulu. I'm in for that. Now I want to watch episode 1 through 3 again. I'm not even gonna lie. As soon as we all started like talking about the Trade Federation and like the lightsaber thing, like you, me, and Kenny, I was like, well, I know what I'm gonna do immediately after the stream is over. You know what I mean? Yeah, it sucked. Just to be clear, she didn't die. We broke up. Like it was just a big breakup, and it was just a really bad time. But I'm living proof that things can be bad. Things can get really, really low. But we are all, capable of recovering, of, getting stronger, of being okay eventually, if not on our own, with help, with friends like all of you guys. Is he? Grant Gustin is going to be Flash again with yellow hair. They're going to dye it for Barry. I haven't heard anything about Grant, but would be interesting to maybe just like see, like if that was like a TV cameo, I'd be in for that. Oh yeah, for sure, Hibiki. I know you sent me. I saw that. I can't open it right now. I'll do it as soon as we're out of here. But yes, Zippy, exactly. That's a perfect stamp. YouTubers are fun. Hollywood, not so much. And with that, I think that's a perfect stamp to say, guys, I hope you had fun hanging out with me today. I definitely had fun hanging out with you, talking Star Wars. I knew that even though we were talking about like Disney Star Wars, this is going to suck, I knew a conversation would eventually arise of like, oh yeah, we like this stuff. Like, oh yeah, remember this cool thing? Remember like this? And oh, this is how we would have done it better. And so I'm over the moon because I've mentioned it before. I hate Star Wars right now. And it sucks because I used to love it so much as a kid. And it's moments like these that remind me like, oh yeah, this is why it was cool. So as always, guys, get out of here. It is Saturday. Go play something fun. Go read something. Go watch episodes 1 through 3. Any of them. You know what? Everybody is forgiven for watching Attack of the Clones tonight. You get one pass, right? But until then, yes, thank you to everybody who was hanging out with me live, from Kenny to Zippy to Hibiki to Shinkai to Andrew to Zero to Paula there at the end to... Did I say Kenny? I think I said Kenny. Kenny and Zippy. Timon, of course. See, this is the part where I start like, I'm dropping everybody's names. But guys, I love talking to you live when we're on the show, and to anybody out there watching in the VOD or just lurking, I see you too. I love you just as much. Couldn't be here and doing this without you, and the fact that, you know, you want better from your personalities and your news sources and all that sort of fun stuff. So, scheduling, as always, Monday, we will be back with Cider and Nerdigans on Weekly Weeb News, where they'll bring you the latest updates from the world of anime and manga. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm right back here for Mav Streams. Same time, same bat channel. Don't know what we're going to play yet. I'll find something. We're in that January drought, so it's a little weird. And then Thursday nights, Foil Variant, me and Andrew, we give you the breakdown, the intellectually honest breakdown of the week's comic book releases. And then right back here next week, same Mav time, same Mav channel for another Good Mav Ugly. Guys, can't wait to hang out with you again. As always, you know, follow us on Twitter, follow the site. If you want to chat more directly with me and everybody here, down below here in the description is the link to the Bounding Into Comics Discord, as well as the Kabuto Studios Discord, which is, you know, my own private one. So if any of those are up your alley, hit them up there. Follow me on Twitter, YouTube's, Kicks, Rumbles, all the internets, all the tubes. You can find me there. And let's see, what else? Yep. Oh, yeah, you're off to Kirsch. Time for Foxu Waifu News and Tantrums. And Rocket League. What about Rocket League? I haven't played that game in ages, and I was bad at it when it was up. So if you want to play some Rocket League, just know you're going to have to really carry. But until next time, guys, I'm off to Pod Race. And yeah, take it.
As the creator of Mara Jade,
Wait! I am not the creator of Mara Jade, and I want you to get out of this office right now.
I'm sorry, Zeb.
No way.
You brought
No
it
way.
You brought it on yourself.
I don't want you here.
I'm so
Out.
sorry, George. I didn't think it would go like this.
Out.
Ted, I got your voucher.
Out! There.
I'm sorry about that. I'm so sorry. We'll have him like burned and we'll
I don't
execute
even
him
know
and
who
burned.
that guy is.